Good morning, everybody. We got a little bit of a live trade set up here this morning. Just got short on a lower high ES. Posted this one on X and for my Discord here. We have a 1 minute unfilled gap, and we have an extension from our, let's move this over here, volume area high, right? So when we get too extended from volume area high, generally we see a pullback to volume area high once we're way out here in no man's land. Letting this thing kind of just bebop around right now. We got a couple $100 on PNL started, but what we're looking for is the further crackdown. The only bad part about a trade like this is data is looming near. We got 31 candles on the minute chart till data, 31 minutes. But right now you got your volume area high on ES here, and then we're so far extended into this nasty looking little +2 deviation VWAP that we have an opportunity to kind of move it on down. So right now you can see RSI topped perfectly, broke down to the 50. MAC had a really good cross, and both have extensions to the downside. So I am staying short right now across all 6 accounts. So we're up $2,200 some dollars right here. And we have an opportunity to come down and fill this gap. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to hold the entire 4887 gap fill pending on data here, but we do have 30 minutes of selling pressure here to work through and see if we get it. So right now, it's more of a slower pace trade. We need the VIX to kind of perk up. VIX is coming off a low right now. Dollar is too. We just got to get this reversal back down. And this goes off the thesis that intraday gaps tend to fill, and we have this gap right here at 4887. And again, it's not if they're going to fill, it's when they're going to fill, right? So it's generally a little harder to just guarantee anything trading, but especially in an instance like this. This instance right here is one where we have a data-driven run-up pre-data, but also a gap. So one of the dangers in a risk trade like this is where you see everything set up perfectly. All the TA is perfect, the lower high confirmation, we got the lower low break, it should be coming back down, no problem. We risk the force up into data 730 and then they drop it, right? So if you're using funded accounts, they don't want you trading through data. Which is fine. We could just swap to a real account if so. But right now we're up 300 and some bucks across the board, about 2K or so. Not a big deal. But right now, we'll probably get out ahead of time if it does look like it's not panning out and it's going to run up or whatnot. But we do have all the metrics right now pretty well advised for this. Now we can look at the VIX as well. We can bring this guy over. We are at the deviation center. We're getting a little bit of a nice green candle here. We could get a full push back up on the VIX to the top channel of the RSI and the MAC. That would be best case scenario for a jolt down. But I'm really only looking for volume area high, which is a little bit ahead of my target, right? So my target is going to be right here at volume area high, pretty much the 200 SMA back test to 1 minute. And then whatever wants to happen here. I don't really want to risk a fill either within a point and a half where like a wick would come down, say like this, and tag that gap fill and not fill my order. So a lot of the time I don't like to leave orders just in the gap. So a lot of the times people will use a 1 minute gap like this and they'll say, oh man, I'm just gonna put an order right on that, and the order might skip you. It might come back down, price action will fill that gap and you'll be left waiting. So I always try to get out a little bit ahead of time, you know, for the trade, just for the confirmation. So right now let's let it work out. This is gonna slowly track its way back down. We got the lower high setup, we got all the RSIs, and we got the VIX kind of peaking up here a little bit. So right now, we just need to get it back down to volume area high, and that's going to be 4,850 or so, just about the 200. So let's just let this work out. And we have 4 ES contracts right now, single trade, just a single one, kind of cruising back down. I usually try to target about 500 bucks for the day. I think I can go up to about 930. That's with the 30% rule. which is fine through apex. So we might actually get pretty close to that one today. We're going to see how the panic comes in here as the VIX kind of pops. And of course, spotting a gap on a 1 minute is generally a high probability magnet. So whenever they leave these gaps on the 1 minute futures pre-market after hours, they come back and back test. So when you see a gap start like this, then it does its run up. You wait for it to get extremely extended. You start getting those markers where you're like, oh, this is a beautiful setup where we're getting these shorts play-ins. We're up like 600, 700. So I'll cover one right now. See if we get the fill here. We're up 4,350 across all 6 accounts. See if we can't take a little profito here.
Order filled.
Order filled. So one little fill right there, missed the other one. For now, again, not a big deal. We are targeting volume area high right here, and the 100 EMA generally becomes a rando support a lot of the time, which is our little green level here. So if that pops up a little bit, that's not a big deal. We'll let that crack back down and let her walk back down. Let's cancel this order. We already got one filled there. Let's put the rest right below volume area high here. So like 4,889 would be fine with me. So right about here. 12. I think I got 3 left across the board. Yeah. So we'll leave those open right now. All those fills that you see on the screen, those are just obviously limits. So whatever we get there, we get there. 100 EMA will have a little bit of a test, and then the VIX will kind of wonk, and then the dollar will come through, blah, blah, blah. But regardless, we should get down to volume area high, being the bare minimum. If not, worst case scenario is Qs picks up, because Qs is into volume area lows. You can see right here. So you got to remember Qs does kind of drag other markets around. And if Qs wants to extend further past the lows, ES has further the way down. So determining which one to short between here, I mean, Qs did have an extension above its volume area high, but ES had a much better setup and the gap. So besides looking at both of these going, oh, the Qs, oh, the NQ, do we have a gap? Do we have this? The better one to pick here is most definitely the ES with the gap. So we should melt through the 100, get one more leg down here, get our fills. We got a couple more points left. So I got to be very careful not to go over $930 and the 30% rule. So I will maybe exit all this. I don't know exactly what it's going to be. It's 150 times 3. So yeah, it's going to be over $1,000 across all 6 accounts. So we'll see. I don't know on the dip. I might have to cancel the order early because I don't want to go over that 30% rule. So let's just let the short play out here. You can see some of the entries where I started taking them up here into the lower high confirmations. You see the little red arrows there. Again, it's just a singular trade, 4 contract total. And yeah, we'll have to see if it pops back up one more time here, chases the 10 down, but should wiggle its way down. We're getting low RSI right now, so decent little support on the Qs as well. But even if it pops up a few more times, doesn't matter, it'll come down. Gaps have a very high probability chance of filling, as I sit here and repeat myself over and over again. So we're almost there. So coming down to the 200 here, we're at 800. I'm going to have to cut the trade a little short because I don't want to go over that 30% rule. So let me cut some of these limits because I'm just going to have to exit all so I don't get a over $930 win. Just sticking true to the 30% rule here. So we'll just manually give her the boot here in a second. So again, slowly through that 100 EMA, looking for the volume area high. Orange level right there. Hopefully we get a couple speed candles here. A couple speedy boys. We only got about a point left until we have 3 contracts on, so it's only a point until $950. So one single point down is going to set us up on that 30% rule. So we're getting a little close here. We're up 3,500 across the board. Single trade. Let's see what happens here on the speed. No, we could actually just measure it from price action low. So it'd be like right. No, it would be pretty close. It'd be 89. Put some buys right there. Put 2 of them right there. So volume area highs coming up. Q should extend a little bit past those lows for us. Should get our last little dig down in here. And again, it's going to go lower, most likely to fill that gap. I just get out and in ahead of time. We practice a lot of risk management here as we get out from profit takes early. And here's that retrace. Might need a 10 SMA tag like we were talking about before here. It's a blue level. Just because we haven't had one yet. You can see it broke here. And then we'll need a confirmation, a little kiss, a little before it goes down. That's a potential. We'll see. But slow and steady. The waiting game, always so fun. But when we get these gaps, though, they're generally extremely high probable. So we love 1 minute gaps that are hidden on the futures. Futures do not like to leave those intros. So ever so slowly waiting for that ding. And I don't want to go, like I said, we barely got a point difference. 930 is my over under. I think my other 3 accounts will be ready for payout now. Yeah, 3,100. So just locked in 30-some thousand for February now. Nice. So these are the other PA accounts, all over 3,100 now. These are over 7,000 for those 3. So we got 21,000 in profitos. Hey, there's our limit order. There's 912. We're almost there. We can't go.
Order filled. Order filled.
And order filled. So I'm all out there. $950 across all 6. So there we go. 937 with commissions. So that'll keep us within my 30% range. We got out. P&L on the day on all accounts. They're all PAs. There's no fake accounts here. 937.60. They're all comboed up. So every single one of these accounts are going to show 937 across 6. So just under $6 grand. Not a bad trade.